Hey y'all, it's Kay again. Still doing dishes. Crazy busy week, so I kind of got a little behind. And of course, because my house is falling down around my ears, also my dishwasher stopped working. We bought a part that we thought would fix it, and it wasn't the part. Typical. Anyways, so today, let's talk about kids. Let's talk about parenting. One of the things I come across a lot on patrol, I had to make some really weird arrests of parents who did really stupid things. And for example, one time I'm working patrol and we get this report that this pregnant lady has been attacked in a Walmart parking lot. Shocker, Walmart, right? So we roll up and it's this this woman, her boyfriend, and her little 5-year-old son. And of course, after they punched this extremely pregnant woman in the stomach, they just went about their shopping, because that's what you do, right? You just assault people and then go shopping. So, long story short, we bring them outside, we take them into custody, make the arrest, and while we're making the arrest, the woman who punched the other woman in the stomach was crying, and she's like, "Oh my God, I don't want to be separated from my son." And I'm like, wait. So you're clear enough of mind that you can punch a pregnant woman in the stomach, but you're not clear enough of mind that you have a son that you need to take care of, so it's probably not a good idea to get arrested. And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, okay, first of all, who can we send your son to so that he's safe while you're in jail tonight? And she's like, "I don't have anybody." I said, "Okay, do you want us to leave him with your boyfriend?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, so who's your boyfriend?" She goes, "I don't know, I just met him." So she's hanging out with this guy that she just met, and she wants us to leave her child with this unknown guy because she got arrested for punching a pregnant woman in the stomach. So we talked to the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, we've been together for about 3 days, and this is her 5-year-old son, and he's diabetic, and he has to have shots and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Well, she's saying that she wants us to leave you with the child." And he's like, "That's okay." He goes, "I know how to give him the shots. I can take care of him." And I'm like, "All right." So we take all his information, and I have the conversation. "Dude, we've got your information. If anything happens to this little boy, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna make it my mission to find you." And he's like, "Officer, I swear I'm not gonna do anything to the little kid. He's sweet as can be. I'll give him his insulin. You can come check on me in 24 hours and make sure that he's safe." I'm like, "All right, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be driving by your place and I'll check on this little kid and make sure he's safe." So the guy was actually a good guy, so I'm kind of surprised this girl was with me, but I digress. So the little boy's crying, give him a teddy bear, and like, "Honey, I have to take your mommy to jail." And he's like, "I want to go with my mom." Like, "I know, sweetie, that she did something really bad, and she has to go to jail tonight, so you're going to stay with so-and-so." And the guy picked him up and held him, and he was actually one of the really good guys, you know. I was like, "Why is this girl with him?" But I was happy for the little kid, because he would be safe. So, put the girl in the back of my car. One of the things that I did every time I made an arrest was I always talked to the people that I arrested and just tried to figure out where their head was and why they were doing what they were doing. And she's like, "Well," I said, "why did you hit that pregnant woman in the stomach?" I said, "You're a mom. You were pregnant. How would you have felt if somebody did that to you?" And she was like, "Well, she took too long to pull into Walmart." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "She took too long. My boyfriend had to wait for another car because she took too long to pull off straight into Walmart." I said, "So that's why you jumped out of your truck, ran over and punched her in the stomach?" She's like, "Yeah, we shouldn't have to wait." Okay, all kinds of wrong there that I can't fix. But anyways, so I was like, "Why didn't you stop and think about your son?" Because she's crying all the way to the jail. "I don't want to leave my son. I don't want to leave my son." I'm like, as a mom, why didn't you think about your son first and not punch the lady in the stomach? She's like, "Well, it never occurred to me." I'm like, so you're devastated that you can't be with your son, but only after you've done something extremely violent. I said, you're a mom. Your job is to think of your child first. You think, what does my child need? He needs me to take care of him every day. So maybe I won't punch people in the stomach and go to jail for stupid things. Maybe he's more important than punching a pregnant lady in the stomach because she took too long to pull in for Walmart. Maybe that's what I need to do as a mom. She's like, well, nobody ever explained that to me before. That's just one poem. Anyways, so I spent some time trying to help her. Took her to the jail. Went and checked on the kid the next day. He was swelling. But it was like Epiphany. Driving around with the pool. How many other people are out here that I just thought had been brought up with the ability to take care of their kids? You know, and then the more homes you go into and situations, you actually have to rescue kids from their parents because their parents were so poorly raised or just not raised, left to their own means. And it's really kind of surprising. So from that point on, I decided every time that I encounter a parent, I'm going to have a conversation and see if they have the basic tools for raising their kids, you know. So I've been on abuse calls, I've been on calls where the kids got to talk in school. Oh, if your parent disciplines you, that's a violation of your civil rights. And, you know, so I've been called by kids because, oh, my dad put me on restriction, took all the stuff out of my room. And, well, that's a violation of my civil rights. No, it's not. When you're 18, it is your right to ownership for everything that you purchase. While you are not a legal adult, your parents own everything in your room. Mattress, sheets, blankets, roof, door. So if you're a little brat, disrespecting, screaming, hollering, throwing temper tantrums, if you're causing problems in the house, I'm talking real problems. I'm not talking that you didn't get an A on your math test, okay? I'm talking like you're being violent, you're being hurtful, you're like following intelligent rules, then your parents are going to make the door of your bedroom. All you need is 2 hot meals a day. You get oatmeal for both of them. They fulfill the little requirements of 2 hot meals a day. 1 clean outfit, a roof over your head, and a safe, clean place to sleep. So that can be a stripped down mattress on the floor with a sheet and enough blankets to keep you warm at night. Being fed 3 times a day, and only 2 of them have to be hot meals. And you can wear the same outfit over and over again as long as it gets washed every night. Every single thing in the room can be taken away. The door can be taken off the hinges so that the parents don't have to wonder if you're in your room having sex when you're not supposed to be, or doing drugs, or committing a crime, or building weapons so that you can tell everybody to school. And when you turn 18 and you move out on your own, everything that's in your room from that point belongs to you. And your parent swatting you on the butt once or twice, it's not a violation of your civil rights, and it's not abuse. There's a limit. It's in the penal code. You can look it up. I'm not going to put it out on the internet because some people will go, oh, well, I can hit my kid that many times. Or, you know, the kids will, like, push it to get you to go just past it so they can call the cops or whatever. So, I mean, if you want to play stupid games like that, I'm not going to help you. Go look at the California Penal Code. Anyways. So, I discovered that parents didn't know how to parent. And then through different calls, I discovered parents don't know how to discipline. Some are afraid to discipline. Some just never learned what was the right way to discipline or what needed to be accomplished. So there's punishments And then there's correction. And then there's abuse. Abuse is when whatever you're using for discipline exceeds the actual crime, so to speak. Like in law enforcement, if somebody's out of control, I can make so many moves to get them into control. Once I've got them in control, if I do anything beyond that, I am now being excessive, and that becomes abuse. If somebody's punching me in the face, I have every right to do whatever I need to do to get them to stop punching me. After they stop punching me and I put them in handcuffs, I can't kick them or punch them or do anything else, because now they no longer are able to resist, so I have no justification. Okay? As a parent, you can only punish your child up to the point of getting them to stop the behavior. So if your child's mouthing off and you smack them across the mouth, I don't really suggest smacking people in the face. It's just not a good practice. There are some people who do it. I don't agree with it. But let's say kids just spouting off and you pop them across the cheek. Not punching, slapping. The shock factor of like, what the hell, will get them to stop. You're done. That's it. Now it's a discussion and you talk it down. Okay? Again, I don't condone slapping people in the face, but I'm just saying if someone slaps somebody in the face, it's the shock factor, it stops it, you're done. You don't just keep pummeling the person, right? If your kid's screaming and hollering through the store, like so many wonderful parents let their children do nowadays, do you know that a quick smack on the bottom shuts them up? One quick smack on the bottom and knock that off. That is ugly, and you are not going to be an ugly person. Stops it. But as long as you ignore them, they're going to scream louder and louder and louder. You know why they're screaming? They're screaming to get your attention. They're screaming because they don't think that you see them or hear them. So the minute that you curb the behavior by saying, I see you, or the quick smack on the butt, they stop. Any parent who allows their child to scream and holler or behave badly in a store is a coward. Straight up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to kiss your butt, I'm not going to pander to you, I'm not going to lie to you. If you don't have control of your children, you are a coward. And when they go to jail later, or when they make your life miserable every day because you don't have a backbone and you don't realize that you're the parent, too bad. You bought it. You encouraged it, enabled it, and said, yeah, this is good behavior. Keep it up. That's on you, and I don't feel sorry for you. If you're too much of a coward to parent, you shouldn't have had kids. If you don't know how not to be a coward, very simple. You tell your child, don't do that or this will happen. And then you follow through. If you don't stop screaming through the store, I'm going to smack you on the butt in front of God and everybody, and you're going to be embarrassed, and everybody here is going to know that you're a little brat. Or, hey, stop acting like that. That makes you look ugly. Do you want people to think you're ugly? Do you want to be ugly? Don't do that. That's ugly. Don't do it. Or, that's enough. You're not going to be like that. I don't want people to hate you because you behave badly. Knock it off. I'm going to swat you on the butt. Or you're not going to get dessert tonight. Or you can't watch your favorite show. Or you can't play your favorite game. Or I'm going to take this toy away from you for 2 days. Or whatever your consequence is. Make it reasonable. Make it something that is important to them. Because if you don't take away something that's important to them, they won't learn. Struggle breeds growth. When people have to do without something and have to work to get it back through good behavior, changing their behavior, accomplishing a goal, then that person learns, I am rewarded for good behavior. Bad behavior deprives me of things. So if you never punish your child, you never have consequences, you never deprive them of something for their bad behavior, then you are setting them up for failure. Setting them up to get arrested, setting them up to blame the world for all their problems, setting them up to be a screaming little jerk in your house, setting them up to be hated by everybody around them who is normal and intelligent. You're setting them up to not get a job because nobody's going to hire somebody like that. So you're setting them up to fail financially, socially, personally. You're setting them up for failure in relationships. Nobody's going to have a successful relationship with someone like that. So knock it off. Set your kid up for success. Set up boundaries. Boundaries make people feel safe. Don't do this, don't cross this line, or bad things happen. You stay within the lines, everything's good, happy, safe, loving. I love horses. Case in point, picture analogy. I do this with my kids. If it's annoying, sorry, too bad, that's me. With my horses, when they were in their stable corral, that's where they ate, that's where they got loved, that's where I'd come spend time with them, just lean on them, talk to them, whatever, give them treats, play with them. When I took them out of the corral and I put them in the round pen, that's when we went to work. That's where we got busy. That's where we learned new things, tackled problems, changed behavior. Inside of their stable corral, they felt safe. They knew, here's where everything's good. Once they came out, they knew life changed, things had to be learned, blah, blah, blah. Kids are the same way. You set up boundaries, okay? A consistent routine is the first one. You eat at the same time, every day, approximately, because consistent routines develop rhythms in the brain. And so the brain learns every day to settle down at this time and take a nap. Settle down at this time and sleep for several hours. Settle down at this time and eat and digest food. The body is more relaxed with routine. But once you define routine, now you've got to set up boundaries. This is what we do. We don't behave like this. We don't do this. If you do this, there is punishment and consequences. Your kids will test that fence every single day. Horses do too, dogs do too. It's just nature to test the boundaries. Every time they hit that fence and they test that boundary, you have to follow through with the consequences that you described. If you hit somebody, I'm going to spank your butt, and you lose an hour, okay? If you take something away from somebody, if you cross a line, you're not sitting down laying out a whole list of if-yous, but when you're watching your children and you see behavior developing, you approach them and say, don't do that because this will happen. And then they're going to do it. I'll tell you right now, they're going to do it. And then when that consequence happens and they get a swat on the butt, or they lose their video games, or they don't get to watch TV, or they don't get to go hang out with their friends or whatever, then they learn, bad things cause me to lose. When I don't do bad things, good things happen. So you're setting them up for success, because that's how it works in the world. You treat people well, good things happen. You're a jerk, bad things happen. If you don't establish that before they're 5, good luck. That's a hell of a road to struggle through after they're 5. You can do it between the ages of 5 and 10 before it's permanently cemented into their personalities. But if you don't get that understanding straight out of the gate, life gets hard. Hard. I have 3 kids. I can count on one hand how many times I swatted them on the butt. Because I would see them doing something, I would tell them no, they would test it, they'd get a swat, they got sat down wherever they got sat down, come back 5 minutes later, put them on my lap, hold them in my arms, ask them if they knew what they did wrong. We would explain it if they didn't, again, and say, I love you, that's not okay, You cannot do that. That makes you an ugly person, and ugly people have a hard time in this world. And for the person who's watching who wants to get all like physically like frustrated, oh, she's so mean to ugly. I'm not talking about ugly physical. I'm talking about ugly in your soul, and get over it. Anyways, when you're ugly in your soul, you have a hard time in this world. You are set up for failure. It is a parent's job to mold their child to have a successful life. You mold your children to have a successful life with consistent routine and by consistently keeping a boundary. That boundary adjusts as they get older and they go through different things in life, but that boundary has to remain in place. That is a love boundary. It's a boundary that says, I love you, you're safe within these walls or rules. When you cross outside of these rules, problems happen, you get hurt, other people get hurt, and it's going to be ugly for you. Number 3, third thing that you really need to do is tell your children you love them every single day. No matter what. Never separate from your child without saying I love you. You might be in a car crash. There might be some horrible event. Never let your last words to your children be in anger, ever. My kids and I will fight, and even when we're angry, we'll go, fine. You know, my son will say, I'm mad at you, Mom, and, you know, I don't like you, and da-da-da-da. I'll be like, fine, but I love you. And he'll be like, I love you too, bye. You know, or if we're texting because we're having some kind of disagreement, even through the course of the discussion, it's like, look, I love you, son. You don't have to agree with me, but this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I understand this is why you're doing what you're doing. We can agree to disagree. And every communication ends with I love you. I grew up wondering if my parents loved me because of our situation. They would say I love you, but their actions spoke louder than their words. They were not loving. Their actions were not loving. They were obligatory and often mean. But so, consistent routine. Addressing a problem when it happens because you set up boundaries. And making sure your kids know that you love them every single day, no matter what. I don't have to like my kids. I don't like their choices. There are a lot of choices I don't like. There are a lot of things that they do that I wish they didn't. But that's their life, and they have to go through it, and they're going to make their mistakes. But they will never once wonder, does my mom love me? I'm no expert. I make my mistakes. So the fourth thing I would suggest to you is be okay with saying I'm sorry. Especially as my kids got older into teenage years. I had to remember to transition from the I'm your mom, this is what you need to do because I know best, to you're making your own choices and your own decisions and doing things for your own reasons, and now I need to let you fall on your face, if possible. And I would go in and I'd be like confrontational because all I could see was what they were doing and not why they were doing it. And like my daughter and I, sometimes we'll just go toe to toe and she's like, you just don't understand, so I'm not going to say anything. And I'm like, okay, wait, I need to stop. Tell me what you want to say. Tell me why you want to say this. And sometimes we'll go at it for like an hour. She's like, you're not hearing me. And so then I just have to stop and say, okay, I'm not going to talk. And you shut up. Tell me what you want to say. And then she'll tell me things. And a lot of times it's not what I want to hear. And I don't understand it. And sometimes some of it scares me. Some of it makes me angry. And some of it makes me worried. And I have to be okay with shutting up and listening. Because I need to understand where she's coming from. And then when she's done, I'll be like, okay, I'm coming from over here, and this is why. And you're coming from over here, and this is why. Now I understand that. So I want to help you get where you want to go, but you need to understand that this is new for me. And I have to learn how to handle it. And I have to learn to see things from your perspective. Okay? Don't get me wrong, this is nothing dangerous. Like, we're never talking about drugs or sex or, stuff like that. We're talking about I have to, being a parent when the kids get older is a teeter-totter. They're standing on one side, and if you're standing on the bottom, they have no room to move to work with you. Okay? So you have to be willing to get off of your high horse so that they can get some leverage, so you guys can come to an agreement, a level place where you can work together through whatever issues they're dealing with. If you don't ever step off of your demands, they can't ever find their footing, and vice versa. If they don't ever step off their demands, then you guys can't figure out how to readjust your relationship so that you guys can work together through whatever they're now going through. And when I said drugs and sex and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, we've had conversations about drugs and sex. Don't hide from the issues your kids are dealing with. Okay? I know I'm going to wrap it up because there's just so much that I want to help people with. So let me say this. Okay? When God created us, He created our worlds very small. We're supposed to have like an oikos. An oikos is like about 12 to 15 people that we can keep track of mentally on a daily basis. We woke up when the sun came up. We ate 3 times a day. When the sun went down, our brains calmed down. Ever since the invention of the internet, there is no sun up or sundown, and there is no schedule. Our kids are being bombarded 24/7 with crap from all over the world. Instead of dealing with what they're mentally capable of dealing with, which is about 12 people, they're being bombarded with the opinions and the hate and the social unrest and the fear-mongering and the bullying 24/7. They're on their phones at night in their rooms or in the locker room or at school or in the car, all the time that you're not interacting with them. They're on their phones, and their brains are being bombarded with hate and fear and worry and stress, and they need you more than ever. They need you to come in and say, look, you don't have to take on the weight of the world. You don't have to take on the fears of the world. You don't have to take on the bullying and the fear-mongering and the social unrest, and you don't have to conform to anybody's opinions, because the internet's full of opinions. Keyboard warriors who are out there telling people what they have to be. You need to step in between that, because if you're not in the middle of what your kids are doing every single day, if you don't have a conversation with them about how they are and what they're dealing with, then I guarantee you the keyboard warriors, the social unrest, the bombardment of 24/7 with no routine and hate and injustice and all this other stuff, that's going to raise your kid. And your kid is going to be so confused because there are no boundaries on the internet. There's no security there. There's no love. There's no consistency. All the things that mold a child into a successful adult where they feel safe and stable and confident in the world, not available on the internet. There's no filter. My kids are on the internet all day long, but I'm in the middle of it. My one son, he's about educational stuff. He's chasing education. My daughter, she does a lot of helping people. My other son, he's all into the social stuff, and he gets overwhelmed. And he'll come out, and we'll have conversations. I'll be like, son, this is not what God intended for you. Take a step back. What's really going on in your life? And do you really have to take responsibility for all the people out there that are angry and scared and lost because they have no boundaries and filters and consistency? No, you don't. Let's come back into our world and do what we're mentally capable of, which is dealing with a small group of people. And turn off the phone, step away. My kids have told me so many times that their world is so much more calm and peaceful when they choose to go phone free for the day. Just a little tip. Scared kids are chaotic kids in the home. And if your kid's scared or frustrated or angry or acting out, get in the middle of it. Find out what's going on. Be the parent. Remind them that they are safe within boundaries of love and stability and routine and consistency. Talking your ear off. I hope I helped. I've seen a lot. I really want to help you guys a lot. I have to struggle through every day. So just if I'm part of your struggle and I can give you some tips on how to get through it, then I hope this helps. You guys stay safe, okay? Talk to you soon. Bye.